Hello there, and welcome to my video lesson. As you can see from the title itself, I am going to talk about reported speech, and more specifically about reported statements. But what is reported speech? In our daily life, when we talk to someone, we tend to tell them what somebody else has said. And in order to do so, we can either use the direct speech or the reported one. When we use the direct speech, then we use the exact words what somebody said. And therefore we use the quotation marks because we are quoting their words. On the other hand, when we use the reported speech, then we use the exact meaning of what someone said, but not the exact words. And because of that, we don't use the quotation marks because we are not quoting them, we are reporting what they have said. Hence the name reported speech. In reported speech, we can either use the word that or we can omit it, which comes after the introductory verb say, tell, and other verbs. Let's see an example. In front of you, you got one of the most simple sentences ever. I am happy today. Because I want to be more clear. On the following slides, then we can have more elaborate sentences to analyze. So as you can see, the first sentence is in direct speech because, and therefore I have put this into quotation marks because I'm saying every exact words of what Alex has said. The second one is in reported speech, and from the structure, even though it seems different, it actually has the same meaning. Alex said that he was happy that day. How did this transformation happen? When we want to transform a direct speech sentence into a reported speech one, then the first thing we do is we put a subject, so to know who the speaker is. Then we put a reporting verb, also known as an introductory verb, which in most cases it is in past simple. As you can see here, the word that is put into brackets because, as I said, it's optional. We can leave it or omit it. And then we need to change the tense of the verb. Here the verb is in present simple, and the way it transforms is that it goes into past. Then the next thing is the pronoun. It transforms from I into he because we are talking from the third person's point of view. In the sentence above, we have also an adverb of time, and therefore this needs to be changed too. From today, it becomes that day. So, from direct speech into reported speech, things that need to change is the pronoun, the verb, the adverb of time, and also the adverb of place, if there is one. Here in front of you, you've got in the first box sentences in direct speech and how they change into reported speech. We've got here the tenses. So if a sentence is in present simple, it changed into past simple. Like the example, I like cooking because she said that she liked cooking. Present continuous changes into past continuous. I am reading a book. She said that she was reading a book. Present perfect simple changes into past perfect simple. I have changed schools because he said that he had changed schools. Present perfect continuous transforms into past perfect continuous. I have been painting the room because he said that he had been painting the room. As you can see here, all the present tenses have changed into past tenses, so they went one tense back. When it comes to past simple, we have two options here. We can either leave it as it is or transform it into past perfect simple, because we know past perfect is a situation happened before another situation in the past. So we won the game. They said that they won the game or they had won the game. The same goes with sentences in past continuous. I was surfing the net. Can either remain the same or change into past perfect continuous. As you can see here, on the board of the direct speech sentences, I haven't put past perfect simple examples or past perfect continuous because they do not change. They remain the same. Here we have some modal verbs. Will becomes would. Can becomes could. May becomes might. Must becomes had to. Not have to, but had to. I must go to work. He said that he had to go to work. The same goes with the modal verb have to. I have to wear a uniform. He said that he had to wear a uniform. Here we've got adverbs of time or time expressions. Now becomes then, today becomes that day, tonight, that night, yesterday, the day before or the previous day, tomorrow, the following day or the next day, next week, month or year becomes the following day, week, etc. This week, that week, last week becomes the previous week or the week before, ago, previously, or before. Adverbs of place or place expressions. Here becomes there, this becomes that, these become those. And last but not least, we've got the pronouns. From I, it transforms into he or she, depending on the gender of the person. You becomes I or we. My, his or her. Me, him or her. Our becomes their. We, they. Us transforms into them, and etc. Well, enough talking. Let's see an example. In front of you, you've got a sentence or a quote by Oscar Wilde. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. Let's see if we recall how we transformed the sentence earlier. So as you remember, the first thing that we do is we put the subject, then the reporting verb, which as we said, in most cases is in past simple. Let's look on the direct speech sentence. Here we have two verbs, live and are. Both of these verbs are in present simple, therefore they become in past simple. Live becomes lived and are becomes were. The other things that we need to transform here are the pronouns. We becomes they and our becomes their. And from the sentence above, we can see that we don't have any adverb of time or adverb of place. So these are the only two things we have transformed them into the reported speech. Let's see the whole sentence. Wilde said that they lived in an age when unnecessary things were their only necessities. Let's see more example. These two sentences are shorter than the previous one, but we have more things to change. Let's read. I went to the theater last night. So we've got the pronoun to change, the verb, and also an adverb of time. He said he had gone to the theater. So past simple transformed into past perfect. Last night transformed into the night before. In the second one, we have more things to transform. I am staying here until next week. We've got a pronoun, a verb, an adverb of place, and also an adverb of time. He said that he was staying there until the following week. Am staying is a verb in present continuous. It's changed into past continuous. Here, transformed into there, and next week into the following week. Let's go with more examples. We are creating an artificial brain, he told the audience. So, since the verb is in present continuous, we transformed it into past continuous. I have just found a job working in a science lab, Josie told. The verb here is in present perfect continuous, therefore we need to make it into past perfect continuous. Josie told me she had just found a job working in a science lab. We will soon have enough money to buy a more powerful computer, he said. Let's see if we have other things to change. We've got the pronoun, a verb, and nothing else. So, he said they would soon have enough money to buy more powerful computer. So will transform into would. I am going to watch Frankenstein on DVD tonight, Tom told me. In this case, we not only change the pronoun and the verb, but also we've got an adverb of time. Tom told me that he was going to watch Frankenstein on DVD that night. As you may have noticed from these sentences in front of you, and comparing to the other sentences I've used before, in these cases I have used another introductory verb, told. As I have said earlier, the most common introductory verb used in report to speech in English are the verbs say and tell. And earlier you saw that when I use the introductory verb say, I have used no personal object. So, Alex said that he was happy that day. When it comes to the verb say, we can also use it with a personal object. But when we do so, we need to put the preposition to in front of these two. Alex said to me that he was happy that day. So when it comes to the verb say, we can either use a personal object or we don't. And when we use it, we put the preposition to. But when it comes to the verb tell, we always use a personal object, but without the preposition to. Alex told me that he was happy that day. Until now, I have talked when we transform sentences from direct speech to indirect speech, we change the tense of the verb. But there are cases that we do not change the tense in the reported speech. When does it happen? We do not change the tense of the verbs when the reporting verb, like say, tell, etc., is in present, future, or present perfect. I need to take some aspirin, Claire says. Claire says that she needs to take some aspirin. As you can see, the reporting verb here, or the introductory verb, isn't in past simple like the examples before. It actually is in present simple. And because it is in present simple, we don't transform the tense of the verb into one tense back into past simple. The only thing we need to change here is the pronoun. I transformed into she. Another case is when the speaker expresses a general truth, permanent state, or condition. The sun sets in west, the teacher said. The teacher said the sun sets in the west. Even though now in this case we have the introductory verb in past simple, not like in the first one, which is in present simple, the sentence that the teacher says is a truth, a general truth. Like, for example, Pristina is the capital city of Kosovo. It's a truth, so we don't need to change the tense here. We also don't change the tense of a sentence when it is in the unreal past, like the conditionals type 2 and 3 that we have learned previously, or wishes, etc. I wish you weren't being so stubborn. Here is a sentence expressing a wish. Sarah told Michael that she wished he weren't being so stubborn. And when there is a past continuous in a clause of time. As I was walking in the street. So this whole here is the clause of time and it's with past continuous, therefore we do not change it. So as I was walking in the street, I saw an old friend, he said. He said that as he was walking in the street, he saw an old friend. Well, guys, I hope I was clear enough. Until next time, stay safe.